All right, welcome to another video of mine. I meant to make this video before 2024 ended. I felt really ill right at the end. But let's get right into it. My last video last year, I was 2 for 10. The fights, I guess, were Julie Polka and Barbie. That fight actually happened in 2024. And I tried to guess that Salt, Poppy, and King Kenny would fight. And that's the only two that I got right out of the 10 fights. So I think I'm gonna be more relaxed in this one. I'm gonna just speak on the fights that I personally want to see, and it's interesting because a lot of those fights didn't happen because it ended during negotiations. A lot of the fights that I mentioned were actually going to happen on the Qatar card, the Super card, and they just didn't happen. It was so close. We almost had them. Joe Weller and Ethan Payne. That almost was a fight. Dean the Great, Adam Salat, that was almost a fight that happened in 2024. But we're looking forward now. We got, well, I can't forget to mention, two guys went to jail before their fights. Blueface and, who was it, Swarms and, not Swarms, yeah, the other guy Swarms was supposed to fight, I said in my video. I went back and watched it today. But yeah, Ryan Taylor, yeah, that's his name. He went to jail. Blueface went to jail. One of the female fighters I wanted to fight, they got pregnant. He's going to have Danny Aaron's baby soon. So yeah, let's just go and speak on fights I want to see in 2025. Let's get right into it. I want to see Elle Brook versus Paige Van Zandt, the rematch. Looks like that's going to happen on this next card, March 29th. And that fight, I want to see that fight because I don't think there's many fights where I've had a thought about it and it literally happened in the ring. Like, before the fight happened, I had thoughts that Paige could pull it off or else could pull it off. But it was a head scratcher. You didn't really know who was going to be more definitive in the fight. At least for me, I can say. I felt that Paige Van Zandt, I felt like she was out of her prime, I guess. And Elle maybe could be the one that can actually take her out and have it on her record. But it was a tie, man. It was a well-deserved tie or draw. And I can't wait to see the next fight they have. On to the next. Got Slim and Salt Poppy 2, the rematch. So I'm looking through my list. We got a lot of rematches on here for 2025. But this is the second rematch I want to see this year. Slim versus Salt Poppy. I think Slim needs Salt Poppy now. He needs that correction. I don't think there's many options for him right now besides the guy he's calling out now. The guy who recently fought on Jake Paul's Mike Tyson card, some Indian boxer, which I've done some studying on him. It would be a good fight. It will be a good challenge. I think he needs one more fight before he goes and fight that guy, you know. And it's tough, man. I mean, if he wants to keep fighting big fights, I mean, he had a broken hand. I'm not sure if he's still want to exercise that right hand because it's going to be needed for a fight like that against the Indian guy and Salt Poppy, you know. So whether it's his next fight or 2 fights down the line, I want to see it happen sometime this year. Third fight, Foxy G versus Walid. Almost happened in 2024. I was going to say that on this video. It literally almost happened on the Qatar card. Walid pulled out. He had some issues, some personal family issues or something like that. And, you know, I think Walid, he's a person that likes big fights. I know he was going to fight in the tournament, the lightweight tournament against, not Artinian King. It was the guy who was a fan of Misfits and joined Misfits. But anyway, he was supposed to fight someone, but then I think he got an injury. He broke his hand. I mean, going into this fight, he's going to get, if it were to happen in 2025, it would be a dangerous fight for him. We all seen what Foxy G did to my man with the gymnastics guy. You know, don't even look like he should be fighting that lightweight. But I think it's a good, sizable challenge for Walid. And Foxy G is the same. It's a sizable challenge. I think there's fights he's supposed to be taking. He says he prides himself on wanting to take hard fights and build his career off that. He never wants to take an easy fight. But he did last year. But, he was just having fun, on the social knockout card. So yeah, I'd love to see that. I see the boys get in there and duke it out. Next, we got Dean the Great versus Lil Craw Craw. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but I would like to see it. Like I said, I'm just making a video or fights I personally want to see. I'm not going to be doing percentages or chances of it happening this time will come around. And Dean the Great almost fought Adam Saleh on the Qatar card. Like, it's crazy how close these fights came to happening, but that was one of my dream fights for last year, me personally. Lil Cray Cray, I think he's done a lot. He's been really active, so I actually favor him in this fight. Before, it was just up in the air. We really didn't know, because I can remember the time he was going to fight in a Survivor tag, or it was a tag team match with him and Kimbo Slice and Dean the Great and Waleed Sharks, or something like that. It was something like that. But then he pulled out because he wanted to go fight on Golden Gloves. He went to fight for some type of championship, some type of boxing thing, basically. It was like a legitimate reason that Lil Cray Cray pulled out of that fight. He came back and won the lightweight tournament after being put out the tournament. I mean, he has a story. He's writing himself. He went through all these guys finally to take a shot at the king of the division. As many may say, Dean the Great, the face of the division. And I think he's going to give a good run for his money. That's something I do want to see. It's something I absolutely want to see. Does Dean the Great say who he is and can walk it and talk it like he is? You got to have those risks. You got to take those risks as a champion to defend your belt. But how it's looking now, I don't think that's going to happen. I might do a video on that soon, including that fight and why it's not happening, with my opinion on it. But on to the next, we got Aegis Virgo. Get some pro fights in there. I do like the pro fights on Misfits. It's not something I just only look at influencer boxing for. I look at the pro fights. I enjoy them, Cashman did his thing back in Qatar. On up to the heavier divisions with Idris Virgo. He's the face of the pro division, at least in my opinion. Cashman hasn't been around long enough. When I think of the pro division, I think of Idris Virgo. And yeah, I want to see him against Martin For You. This guy just won. There's another guy that just won recently. His name Ty Mitchell. I know a lot of people like the hype he's bringing. But either one of those guys, I wouldn't mind to see that type of fight in 2025. Idris Virgo versus either one of them. He needs to be active. He's just always waiting for a fight. So take the fight, man. We want to see you get active. We want to see you build your name. At least I do. King Kenny. It's another fight I want to see. Kenny. I want to see him back in the ring if he decides to box. I really haven't been looking at his social media and seeing if he still wants to box. I assume he does. But if he's going to box, I don't think he should stoop all the way down to, what's the older guy you just fought not too long ago? Adam Brooks. I think he just should pick someone who's relatively active, who's on the come up. This is one of my favorite matchups right here, me personally. I love to see King Kenny fight Ashley Raxu, get back from losing that fight. I always thought that was the logical next step, even if he beat Salt Poppy. And I don't know if the guy is in the same weight class, but what'll be a fun matchup would be King Kenny versus Mist, the guy who ran through Ryan Taylor the first round with just off his jab. But I don't think they're in the same weight class. Another guy I want to see him with is Taylor Holder. Taylor Holder's been part of the scene for a while now. They probably started the scene way before King Kenny. And I feel like that's the perfect matchup because Taylor Holder is trying to get back active, trying to get back on top, trying to be more of the notable guys in the scene. I think that's the perfect matchup. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. I just really hope they're in the same weight classes. They look like they should be in the same weight classes. They're like the same weight, same height, but it just all who's down to sign a contract. Is Taylor Holder willing to take that risk? And I think he would be. Is King Kenny ready to take that risk? I think he would be. He wasn't scared to fight Salt Poppy. He went in there, did his thing. And yeah, on to the heavyweight division. Got Chase Demore. Finally, he's crowned champion. I want to see him against Rhino. Now, the guy I'm talking about, Rhino, apparently he was a part of Slim's crew or his promotion, Hitman Promotions. I don't know if he still boxes or anything. I've been keeping up with that, but that's a matchup we just never seen Rhino fight before. Another guy I want to see Chase Demore fight is FaZe Nikon. He's been begging for a fight. Not begging. He's been trying to get a fight on Misfits for a while now. He just couldn't find an opponent, or opponent always pulls out. That's a fight there for Chase. I want to see Chase fight Roman Fury. That could be his, prime card fight or the next pay-per-view fight. And he could be on the start of the card. One of those types of fight. I love that. I love that for the heavyweight scene. Because it's kind of been the air with Chase Demore in his career. Like, oh, it could happen. And always little clips of Roman Fury teasing the idea of him fighting Chase Demore. So I love that. I love that for Chase, man. It fits his personality well, having a fight like that. He's going to come talk it, bring it, And on to the next. Got Deji Wasabi 2. I think I had the same fight for last year, but it didn't happen. I still want to see him fight. I think Deji, it confuses me because watching this video, he was speaking that he was unmotivated because his opponents pulled out, of course. And he couldn't have the whole theatrics of building and promoting the fight, talking trash, promoting himself, having a big fight against Liam Payne or whatever the guy's name is, some other guy, from a TV show reality star. And yeah, I just think he's just missing a hard opponent. I think if he wants to continue boxing, you have to have a threat in front of you. You can't be fighting guys. Can't be fighting the guys you last fought. If you plan on fighting Wasabi, you have to get on the deep end, and swim. And in between this, because the next one is a big fight. Obviously, people know this one, but I did put on here Gibb versus, because Gibb is on a fantastic run right now. I mean, the whole walking into Misfits, I don't want your belt, I'm going to be the best here, I'm not here to make friends. It's good to see. So I don't want that to go to waste. Apparently he's a part of a 2-fight or 3-fight deal, according to the CEO, the co-CEO of Misfits. I forgot his name, Wasserman or something like that. I want to see Gibb fight someone credible, but this person it's really been stuck on my mind. I know a lot of people wouldn't like this fight, but me personally, it does something for me. There's probably other better fights, but I love to see Gibb face Joe Fournier. And the reason is Joe Fournier always prides himself, which is a whole nother conversation, but he prides himself on, I didn't really lose the fight against KSI, it was an elbow. But if Gibb was to go in there and beat him fair and square in a way that KSI didn't, I feel like he can hold that over KSI's head and maybe taunt him about it. Like, I did what you can do, I boxed him properly. He didn't win a single round against me, But it's hard to find Gibb with an opponent unless he's going to fight. I've been hearing through certain videos on Twitter, he's going to fight or he's been thinking about fighting Alex Wasabi. That's a dope fight. I don't hate it, but want to have a little story to it or a little interest in the fight. What will bring the fan interest? I feel like a Joe Fournier fight. But I think the big question with that fight is, can Joe Fournier make 168 or maybe Gibb can go up, but who knows? Maybe he'll go up to 175 to fight his next fighter, or he'll stay at 168. So that's one of the fights I want to see. I want to see Gibb active this year, On to the last fight, man. The reason I left this out of the last year because I felt it was too premature to say this fight. Everyone knows what fight I'm going to say. KSI versus Jake Paul. The reason I didn't say it last year, it seemed so premature. It just seemed like it wasn't going to happen in 2024. And so I feel like this year, things has really been heating up. And I think they never really let the fight go. I think if it would have been dead in the water if they never was talking about it in interviews or whenever people would ask them, they'd just shrug it off. But the moment I felt, aside from obviously KSI going up in weight, Jake realizing that heavyweight division is not where he wants to be, not his best ultimate fight weight, was when Nikisa as before, prior to all of this, he was really not locking up fight because of Mams. He was like, oh, I would never deal with Mams. And it was so much outside of KSI and Jake. It's like, you can't sit down with someone you just personally don't like. You can't make the fight happen if that can't happen, or if there isn't a middleman. But the moment he said something in the interview, it let me know there wasn't the reason no more, that he's willing to sit down and talk it out. I can't remember what exactly he said, but I realized in that moment, oh, this fight could possibly still happen. It can actually happen. 2025, KSI Jake. That's my fights I want to see for 2025. I believe that's 10. Hopefully we get to see him, man. All right, I'm done.